Ms. Ruthie Bloom is a former advisor at the office of Prime Minister Netanyahu. Bloom is also an author and award-winning columnist, is now joining us live from New York. Ruthie Bloom, welcome to WION The World is One. Do you think Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is cut off from the concerns of an ordinary Israeli when he says his family has sacrificed a great deal personally, that his son's wedding has been postponed twice, and even called the wife a hero? So in that context, how do Israelis view their leader and his statements?
Well, at this moment, Israelis are very proud of Netanyahu, proud of this operation, this war, preemptive, defensive war against Iran, because Israel has been the target of a 7-front war, all originating in Iran, Iranian proxies, terrorist proxies, all around. The Houthis in Yemen, Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, the Iraqi militias, etc. Israelis, even those who are not on the side of Prime Minister Netanyahu, and maybe don't feel that it's a big deal that his son's wedding was postponed, do feel the justice of this preemptive war.
Ms. Bloom, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been saying Iran is only weeks away from developing a nuclear bomb. He has been making this statement for the past 33 years. Why should anyone believe him now?
Well, you make a good point. Yes, it wasn't only Netanyahu that's been saying that. We've had American officials saying that as well. What makes this time different? A few things different. One is that Israel has been preparing for this for many, many years, both operationally and in terms of intelligence, etc. We saw in 2018, for example, that the Mossad infiltrated Tehran and retrieved an entire archive, nuclear archive of the regime and its plans, its nuclear plans. That's one thing. And that spurred President Trump in his first term to rip up the nuclear deal that President Obama had signed. But the reason right now, if we leave aside timetables, the International Atomic Energy Agency said recently that Iran has enough enriched uranium to build 9 nuclear bombs. So this is why I believe that Netanyahu said, okay, the time is running out. And he and President Trump coordinated to the following extent. President Trump said, you do what you have to do to protect your country's interests, and I'll do what I have to do to protect my country's interests. Sometimes they overlap, sometimes they're separate.
Ms. Bloom, but the IAEA did rebuff that statement. They say that they've done their investigation and there are no elements of a bomb being created in Iran. Now that the IAEA has come out with this statement, don't you think it's about time that this war came to an end?
I definitely think it's time the war came to an end. I think that Iran and all its proxies, let's not forget, Iran is the greatest state sponsor of terrorism around the entire globe. And it is about time that it surrender. It terrorizes its own people. It has an iron fist on the Middle East. Arab countries, it tried, the reason it started, part of the reason that Hamas began the October 7th massacre in 2023 was because Saudi Arabia was perhaps on the verge of joining the Abraham Accords, peace accords between Israel and Arab neighbors that President Trump brokered. And the point is that Iran is a malign actor, a belligerent force. And the trouble with Grassi is that over the years, his agency has said one thing and its opposite. And one of the things we do know is that Iran never really let inspectors into any of its sites. Meanwhile, tweeting, the supreme leader and the president, tweeting death to America, death to Israel, we're going to wipe Israel off the map, we're never going to give up our arms, our ballistic missiles. So, you can believe what you want to believe, but this war is a just war. It's good versus evil. That's the way I see it. And I know that that's the way Netanyahu sees it.
All right. Miss Ruthie Bloom, thank you very much for giving us time and for talking to WION World is One today. We'll have to leave it there.
Thank you so much for having me.